I don't think
they don't even really have regular
You can't sue
laws.
someone for saying that they magically bewitched their fucking partner. Come on.
You don't know how the
In
laws work
Italy?
here.
Yeah.
Spectral evidence is no longer allowed in British courts of law.
Matt will represent all of us when we are all fucking sued by every single person that we've talked about tonight.
I don't want to go to a cult court. I'm already going to cigarette court.
Next up on the countdown, Dan Hodges.
Why are they all nude? What is wrong with you people?
Man, what the fuck? Dan Hodges is
As white as the cliffs of Dover, that one. Christ.
I have a hard enough time just having Will fucking read me David Brooks columns. If every column came with a picture of him nude on a bearskin rug, I'd fucking blow my brains out.
Dan Hodges is another pure anti-Corbyn hysteric who self-describes as, quote, a tribal neo-Blairite. Tribalism is a big problem in our politics these days. I think there's too much of it. But honestly, he's done a lot of shitty things. Like he, tried to get Glenn Greenwald's husband arrested when he came to the UK. But honestly, the most damning indictment of Dan Hodges that I can possibly give is that he still has the triple parentheses around his Twitter display name in 2019.
That is the journalistic equivalent of still saying crunk.
Yeah, he's very jiggy with it.
Yeah, cool, man. I didn't know it was still 2016.
So yeah, he writes columns like, "Is the Labour Party's problem with racism beyond repair? The anti-Semitism row in Oxford is not an aberration. It's just what modern Labour Party looks like." That's pretty boring. The only interesting fact I found out about him, Virgil, you'll like this. He is also a war game designer. His first game design was something called Where There Is Discord, War in the South Atlantic, which was an RPG about the Falklands.
Yes, I am a fan of war games, and as Felix likes to make fun of me because I play for 12 hours at a time a game where you stare at a static map. And yes, I have played Battle for the South Atlantic for about 300 hours, and I can say that the community is very toxic.
Mom says it's my turn to play as Vidalia.
Well, I like to think about like the turn-based strategy game, Falklands War. It's just like whoever decides to be England is going to win. It's like not really fair here, the rules of this game. So that is Dan Hodges. Okay, the next guy, before we go, I got to say, the next guy, literally every time I see his face, I know I'm going to have a bad day. So I'm doing this for you now. Let's go to him. Niall Ferguson.
Look at him smolder.
Niall Ferguson. Okay, I really hate to make this comparison. Maybe it's too easy, but you know what? We were just in Berlin. We started the tour in Germany. So here's what I'll say about Niall Ferguson. Say what you will about the Germans, but at least they feel bad about what they did. Whereas, I'm sorry to say, over here, you're churning out people like Niall Ferguson, who writes book after book about how literally every fucking thing that the British Empire did was all completely good and justified, because if we didn't do it, someone else would have. So he's not just an apologist and celebrator of every single imperial massacre carried out in history. The fucking worst part about him is that you've exported him to America, where he currently does the same thing over here, sucking off Henry Kissinger's dead dick at Harvard.
And because we're idiots, we're like, listen to his accent. He sounds so intelligent.
Niall Ferguson, misspelled Nigel, by the way, stupid fucking moron. Second
Not a name.
two-timer now, because he was on the list at our Worst of Harvard show.
Yeah, he was on the list as a guest. We don't agree with him all the time, but, friends are friends. At the end of the show, new by us in Quillette.
So, I do love people who have the temerity to be wistful for the British Empire. It's like you were able to accumulate all of this ill-gotten wealth from all the exploited countries of the world, and then you didn't get to have the empire anymore, but you got to keep all the shit. but then you're going to complain about it. It's like if the cops showed up at Jeffrey Dahmer's house and said, look, you can't eat people anymore, but you can finish all the heads in your fridge. And then you're eating a guy's head going like, God damn it, I used to be able to get all the fucking heads I wanted. This is bullshit.
The British Museum is mostly clutter. They could lose 85% of it, and they would still have a huge museum.
No, the British Museum is basically the fucking Texas Chainsaw family's house.
No, the Brits are the best because they're like the boomers of the world. Like, they just show it. All these applause lines, I feel like the white Bill Maher tonight. No, you just showed up in other countries, like, high on opium, and you were just like, all right, I needed all these 11-year-olds in my tent yesterday to stomp on my asshole. Come on, let's get going. I need to build a bridge that will get 40% of your male population killed in pre-construction. Can 7 of you die so I can send a pigeon letter to a guy I don't even like that much back in England? And then, at the end of it, you're like, why don't other people do this?
I feel like there's a bit of hope, though, about the future memory of British imperialism. Today, I was near Westminster, and there's that square of statues of assholes, and there's a big fucking...
Not literally.
Big bird shit-covered statue of Churchill hunched over in his coat. I took a picture of it, I put it on Instagram, and I think like 4 people said, is that Thanos? So hopefully, in about 100 years, people think that Thanos led the British Empire through World War II.
Much like Thanos, Winston Churchill snapped his fingers and half of the Bengali population died.
So we can go on and on about all of Nigel Ferguson's atrocious apologism for all of the worst excesses of empire. I'll just read one thing he says he wrote here. This is from one of his books. If it hadn't been the British, it might have been someone worse, he says. In any case, empires have been with us as a means of power and control for centuries and centuries. So you might as well cast a moral judgment on reign as the British Empire. Imagine if I had said that, like, about everything Stalin did. Well, it's just like gravity, and actually you don't have to imagine it because I am saying it right now.
You gotta mention the first wife, though.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say I can go on
because
and on.
not only is he a wonderful statesman, he's a family man.
Yeah, no, he starred in the English Family Guy. He was Peter Griffin.
Like I said, I can go on and on about all of his horrible apologism, but here is the only really important thing you need to know about Nigel Ferguson. He left his wife after she fell off a horse. Not a joke, not making it up.
Are you supposed to stay with your wife after she falls off a horse? My goodness, what will the neighbors think?
She went into a coma for like not a very long time, and she woke up and he was gone. So I and her say, Ali, better not take any long naps.
She basically had a headache and woke up after 2.5 hours, and he said, I found someone else.
Yep.
British marriages are great. You people pull the plug on each other for colds.
Parody.
I don't want to be sued by the British Marriage Council.
Yeah, no, this is from the Daily Mail. This is from Nigel's ex-wife, Sue Douglas, in an article titled, "Horses Saved My Soul." She lost her career, her famous husband, and almost her life, but one thing helped Sue Douglas put her life in perspective.
Also the name of Matt's op-ed after I showed him BoJack Horseman, and it changed his life. It's okay to feel sad sometimes.
So she describes this horse as she goes, and then it happened. I had a really bad riding accident. It took place on a beach. While I was out riding alone with my dogs by the sea. Jesus fuck, it's just, I'm sorry, this is the most British woman ever to exist. While I was out riding alone with my dogs by the sea, suddenly my silky pair of ears reared. Is she talking about her ears or, oh, no. Went right over backwards and rolled on my head, causing a small midbrain hemorrhage. And that might have been that. I woke up in hospital and only remember events 2 months later. I lost my job, and my husband told me he was having an affair and wanted to leave me. He left, then came back, then left again, and then my father died. Suddenly, I had no money at all. Imagine being in a coma for 2 months. You wake up and your husband is just like, yeah, so I've met someone new, and in the time you were out, luckily I've moved all my stuff out, so we won't have any messy breakup period. Bye, anyway.
Look, we just grew apart, okay?
Yeah, you were very distant these last 2 months.
I mean, I enjoy a
Kind
nice...
of cold, frankly.
I enjoy a nice bangers and mash, and you insist on taking all of your food intravenously.
And also here's the worst part. Nigel met his current wife, Ayan Hirsi Ali, at the time 100 most important people at World Events Gala dinner. Ugh.
Man, imagine if there was a forced breeding program for everybody there.
Well, that's what Toby Young and Quadrant supports.
Yeah. Solve all the world's problems.
So that's Nigel. That's not we're making plans for Nigel right here. I can't say them because of the libel laws. All right, let's go to the next one. Just The Guardian.
All of them. All of it. Retire it.
You know,
Euthanize it.
we can't just come up here and roast the Tories and all of your right-wing ghouls because, you know, The Guardian is out there and it just stands as a testament to, like, you could not invent a better parody of, like, contemporary bird-brained liberals than the fucking Guardian. So, all right, let's just go through comment is free, folks.
You know what? Comment might be free. Still too expensive for me, folks. Sorry.
I'm just going to go through a couple just amazing, just Guardian headlines from these op-ed pieces. First one, I stopped going to the gym because of Trump. Now I can't open jars. Next is, George Osborne ruined my yoga retreat.
Happened to me, too.
Next up, why I refuse to make friends with my vagina.
Yeah, I've heard bad things
you
about
know
that
what?
pussy.
There are two sides to everything, and maybe your vagina's a bitch, too.
There's a lot of fake friends, a lot of fake vaginas out there. Can't trust them.
Man, this vulva shit funny to me.
Next up, my goofy online yoga teacher has indoctrinated me into her cult. You know that thing that happens. This is relatable content.
Yeah, that one's actually kind of reasonable, Will. I don't think we should make fun of people who suffer that sort of thing happening.
Okay, this may be my favorite. My pet tortoise is wrecking my career. And the funny thing is, that's the same
chick.
woman as the one who
Same chick.
doesn't like her vagina.
I
think she's got a good stand-up career here. You know, she could be sort of a Jeff Foxworthy of Britain. She could be like, if you're closer friends with your tortoise than your vagina, you might write for comment is free.
I like